Commissioner Smith,
Here.
Commissioner Goldman,
Here.
Commissioner Dwyer,
Here.
Mayor Dutkowski.
Here. The next item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes of October 17th, 2023. Commissioners, do we have any amendments or motion to approve?
Move to approve, Mayor. I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Mariah, call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Lucy,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Goldman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dwyer,
Yes.
Mayor Dutkowski.
Yes. The next item on our agenda is the final reading of ordinance 2023-17, construction noise. Ordinance 2023-17, an ordinance amending chapter 38, article 2 regarding nuisances to add sections 38-45 to 38-48 construction noise, providing for definitions, providing for exceptions, providing for enforcement and penalties, and providing for an effective date. Shawna?
Yes, ma'am. At a previous meeting, the discussion came up for construction noise, and a motion was made to redraft the construction noise ordinance with no restrictions on hours for Monday through Saturday, and having no commercial construction allowed on Sundays, with a provision for emergencies and natural disasters. At the last meeting, Attorney Lamp was instructed to research Florida statutes regarding construction on Sundays, and this ordinance was approved as presented at the public hearing on October 17th, 2023. And I guess Attorney Lamp can give his conclusion of what he found.
Mayor, I did do the research that I was asked to do, and because a complete ban on construction noise on Sunday was first brought up at that meeting, I also looked at whether it would be a problem to have a complete prohibition on that day. I can tell you as a result of that research that the United States Supreme Court recognized a right of citizens to be free from unreasonable noise intruding on their quiet enjoyment, not only on their residential property, but even on the public streets. In 1949, the court recognized that a private citizen really has no way to deal with that, and that it therefore fell to local governments to deal with it if they were going to protect the citizens from this intrusion. In Florida, there is no statute that prohibits you from saying that there can be no construction noise on Sundays. In fact, there are a number of communities in this state that have such ordinances. I will tell you that the most common ones prohibit the noise Sunday morning, but then allow in the afternoons. But there are a number of communities that, and the most common construction and lawn service, because that's frequently gathered in with construction noise because of the noise of weed eaters, blowers, lawnmowers, etc. The most common ones are from like 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. There are others that vary. But I will tell you that probably the best example of an ordinance banning on Sundays was from the town of Palm Beach. The town of Palm Beach not only says no on Sundays, but also says no on legal holidays that are observed by the municipality. And because the logic that was put forth when this idea was first floated to the commission was that citizens deserve surcease from intrusion by noise at least one day a week so that they can enjoy time with their families. And I guess in that municipality and in the others that have adopted that, the idea is that those holidays are times when families would be expected to spend time together and wouldn't want to be free from that intrusion. So that's a summation of my research. If there are any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Thank you for such a thorough presentation. Anybody have questions for the attorney? Okay, is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak for or against this ordinance?
Good evening. Well, for one thing, I've already talked to a couple of people that I know that are working on Sundays, and they're going to test this. I can tell you right now, they're going to test it. So it's going to be interesting to see how you guys try to enforce it, for one thing. The other thing is that I'm finding interesting is usually these housing tracts that are going up, they'll give people like an early bird special. The earliest home buyers get kind of an early bird special because once the track's done, the construction's done, everybody's gone. So it's kind of like the whole buyer beware thing. If you're the first homeowner in a place that's going up, obviously you know that there's still going to be construction going on. So I don't know why you would complain about something when you're buying into something that you already know that they're not done building houses. That doesn't make any sense to me. And so, but it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, that's for sure.
Thank you. And for the record, that was our anonymous person. Would anyone else like to speak this evening on this ordinance? Okay, I'm going to close the public portion and turn it back to the commission. Commissioners?
The only comment I'd like to make is on our ordinance here, it's from sunrise to sunset. I was wondering if it should have hours there. Sunrise to sunset is kind of vague of who calls sunrise, who calls sunset. Maybe we should have had hours, 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock, or something of that sort. I'm not sure. I just questioned it when I read through the ordinance, and it seemed to be, to me, a little vague, that somebody could scoot around it a little bit. I don't know what your comments are on it. Not sure. I wasn't looking at you. Looking down that way.
Since everybody's looking at me,
I'm not.
no, and I appreciate that greatly. If you were to make a motion to adopt the second reading and final reading of the ordinance, you could in fact insert, instead of sunset to sundown, or sunset to sunup, you could insert 7 to 7 or 6 to 6.
Well, I brought it up for discussion more than anything else, what everybody else might think about that. It just dawned on me when I read it, but I'm not sure if I'm just reading too much into it or not. I wanted to see what you fellows and ladies might think.
It would seem that the city of Palm Beach that was referenced in the attorney's research, they actually had a time. They used time instead of sunset, sunup. So I have no issue if that's the direction you'd like to go.
It will make enforcement easier to have a time other than.
That's what we did at the parks, isn't it? We did that, we stopped the dusk to dawn thing at the parks and went to straight time, so. I don't have a problem with a set time.
I'm okay with that too.
What section is the time in?
It's in 3847, subparagraph 1.
Number 3.
And also 1.
I thought we originally had a time, that's why I questioned it. Then I saw Sunday, sunrise or sunset. I was just figured I'd bring it up. Personally, I don't have a problem with the time for sunrise or sunset. I just wanted to see what everybody else's feelings might have been on it, since it did come up at one time.
I think that's a good point, Ron. My only thing is, unless I missed something, we're just talking about Sunday, right?
Yes.
And I really doubt anybody's gonna try to get out there and.
No, we're talking about every day but Sunday.
I'm not reading it the same way you're reading it, because it says the excessive construction noise shall not apply to the operation of, and then it lists all those things which are used to maintain real property. Oh, okay, never mind, between sunrise and sunset. I don't know that you would want to say that, because then it would be very.
Mayor, if I may,
Okay.
the way the ordinance was drawn after instructions for the commission, there is no time limit Monday through Saturday on construction. There is a time limit on what would be the lawn service type
Okay.
things. And that is from sundown to sunup. And if the commission went in the direction that you were discussing, a 7 to 7, that's a number that was used, or 6 to 6 is the other number. And that would apply to lawn maintenance, it would not apply to construction. Sandy's shaking her head, but if you,
Those are, it says prohibition of excessive construction noise shall not apply to.
Yeah, that's what I'm confused.
but lawnmowers are not construction
Correct.
equipment. So,
Yeah.
anyway, that would have to be clarified. If the motion is made, you need to determine if you want to stay with the ordinance as it is, or put in your motion what change you want to make. And then if someone seconds it, you vote on it as amended. If not, you'll either adopt or not adopt as written.
Now, we'll throw another point in here that could cause a problem, summertime, wintertime. Summertime is gonna be daylight till 9 o'clock. Wintertime is gonna be daylight till 5:30, 6 o'clock. So when you do sunrise and sunset, that could cause a problem, even when you do hours, it just can go wrong both ways. If you do 7 o'clock to 7 o'clock, that means they have to be off the job in the daylight in the summertime, not 9 o'clock, or 8:30, 9 o'clock.
But we're
So-
not regulating that.
It's just one of those sensitive areas like that.
I'm confused again. I thought that the ordinance is strictly for
Permitted construction.
permitted construction on Sunday,
Right.
period, and
It is.
we didn't regulate anything on the weekdays, correct?
That is correct.
Correct.
Yeah, so why are we talking about
Then-
time?
then
I
you
mean,
should-
Sunday
then you
is just
should-
Sunday, it's
Then
midnight
what you
to,
should say is that you want to, if you adopt the ordinance, then move to adopt the ordinance with the removal of 3847 subsection 1.
the subsection 1 specifically is put in there, so it doesn't apply to lawnmowers. That's why we put it in there, so that people could cut their grass on Sunday.
Okay.
So-
Then make the motion to clarify that, and we'll do that.
Well, if you look at 3846A, it says it shall be unlawful for any contractor or company doing construction work for which a building permit is required, or blah, 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 during the hours set forth in section 3847. So there, that A is telling me that construction work is involved in 3847, which says sunrise to sunset. So it's, I'm wrong, but I don't think.
Maybe what we should just do is just the subsection 3847(1) is just stop the sentence after the word property and just take out where it says between sunrise and sunset, because that just makes it confusing. Because the point of that section is simply to exempt the lawnmowers, so we really don't need to say any time at all, because they're exempt, period.
When I drafted it, I don't think I made it clear the first time I spoke, so let me try again. When I drafted it, it was my understanding that you did not want construction noise on Sunday lights, such as nail guns, other very loud construction type equipment. But there seemed to be a belief that, people mow their lawns on Sunday, people use weed eaters, et cetera. And so, even this ban on construction noise for Sundays would not include those tools that others might be using, so that you're treating the contractors fairly in that regard. So basically, at a construction site, they could use the tools that are set forth here between the hours of 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's, if you read this, that's what it's gonna mean. Now, if you don't want that, take it out, take the whole thing out.
Well, my
Because
understanding,
this only applies to construction that's permitted.
I know what you're saying, so it's irrelevant to anything you have in there. While we're talking, I do have a question for some clarification. In section 3846, section A, it says it shall be unlawful for any contractor or company doing construction work for which a building permit is required to knowingly or intentionally make, continue, permit, or cause any construction noise within the city. So, the way that I read that, it's not telling them that they can't perform construction duties on Sunday, they just can't perform construction duties that make noise.
Correct.
Is that, so like an electrician or a plumber, they may work.
Working inside, hanging drywall, if it's not noisy, could be done.
Okay,
It's the noise producing things that intrude on others is what you were
Okay.
addressing, and so the ordinance.
now are
is
we
drawn that way.
defining,
That was where they discussed.
are we defining what's too much noise? Because everyone has a different perspective.
I can tell you that the simplest, based on the research I did, the simplest approach is to use the phrase clearly audible from neighboring property or street.
All right, that's my first question.
And if you, there are various ways, the chief has talked to you about the difficulty with trying to measure decibels. It seems that there are several ways to do that. One of the ways requires sophisticated, very expensive equipment and training of the individuals to use it. The other way is used more often. There are a lot of failures when people try to enforce. I believe after everything that I've read, looking at cases and researching this, that the easiest way, if you want to do this, is to define it as clearly audible.
And I just have one comment that I'm gonna make. I voted no for this at the last meeting, and I plan to vote no again. And one thing that I thought about, Marge sent out the budget book the other day, and I was reading in there our top employers in the city. And I also asked Shauna's department for some more top employers. So some of our top employers in the city that employ the most people in the city of Bellevue: Winn-Dixie, Publix, Express Care, McDonald's, Mojo's, Rose's, Zaxby's, Hardee's, Pasta Fair, Gary Yeoman's Ford, AutoZone, and then, I think that was it. And then I also thought about something else. The one thing they all have in common is they're all open on Sunday. I also thought about people that live in my neighborhood. I didn't talk to them, but I just did a little inventory in my head. The people who live next door to us, all of them work at the Mexican restaurant, which is open on Sunday. 2 different people in my neighborhood are corrections officers. In theory, they probably work on Sunday. The lady 2 doors down works at Publix. Lady on one side of us is a home health care provider. Lady on the other side of us is a home health care provider. Gentleman who lives on the corner is a pastor. So again, all of these people essentially work on Sunday. So we have quite a few businesses in Bellevue that employ quite a few people that are open on Sunday. And so basically what we're doing here is we're creating an ordinance so that our citizens can quietly enjoy their day off on Sunday. And what I found is how many of our citizens are really off on Sunday? So now we're prohibiting an entire industry from working on a day so that they don't disturb the people who aren't even home because they're at work in all of these businesses in the city that are actually open. So just, I know you guys aren't gonna change your mind, but just for the record, another thought of why I don't like this ordinance. I'm sorry, but it shows something.
I was gonna say, first off, my thoughts were that we agreed on were that the only day we were prohibiting anything was Sunday. And the only thing we were prohibiting was permitted work. I don't really understand how it got so confusing in what would make a difference. I see what you're talking about, these people that work on Sunday, but I really don't see where it.
Well, they're not home to be disturbed. In other words, maybe 20 years ago, in the world, most people were off on Sunday. People didn't work on Sunday, but today's world is different. Many people work on Sunday. We used to have, there were even laws that said businesses couldn't be open on Sunday. Now, almost everything is open on Sunday. And so most people that I know work on Sunday. I know people, they work on Sunday, they're off on Tuesday and Wednesday, they're off on Thursday Monday, so, you know, we've chosen a day to assume that people are home trying to quietly enjoy their day off, and half the people I know aren't even off on Sunday, so we're telling these people who work in the construction industry, you can't work on Sunday, you can't get paid, and you can't make noise, because you're gonna disturb the people who live around the houses that you're building, but those people aren't home, because they're actually at work, so, but, you know, I don't think it's fair.
The comment I would have would be, just to kind of clarify something I said about the sunrise, sunset. This has been going, we've been talking about this for quite a period of time, and I know we didn't only just talk about Sunday, we were talking about hours during the weekdays also. What time to start, what time to finish during weekdays, also coming in with lights at 9 o'clock at night on the Tuesday at night, something of that sort. We were discussing how to control that also. So it wasn't just Sundays we were talking about, we were talking about
Well,
every
yeah, but we
day of the
changed
week.
that,
Yeah,
the last
and
two
then-
meetings.
And when we got down here, we're talking about Sundays only, but it was every day we were talking about.
It was, yeah.
Yes.
So, except for the last two meetings,
Yes.
last two meetings, it was just Sunday.
I understand your point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For as many people as we have that are working Sunday, I would say there's just as many, or if not more, that are off on Sunday.
So are they all
Those
citizens
places,
of
those
Bellevue?
places may employ a lot of people, but a lot of those employees don't live in the city of Bellevue. So, from the people that I've spoken to in my neighborhood, we have the Villas of Bellevue, we have some 55 and over places, and most of those people that I've spoken to would appreciate one day out of the week where they didn't have it. And some of the subdivisions, yeah, like the gentleman said, if you buy a house and you're the first one in there, obviously you're gonna have to put up with some stuff. But there are other people affected by the trucks going through and different things going through. And I think we should keep it the way we have it.
Well, on that note, I talked to a couple people in Olive Glen last week and the week before, because I've been driving through to see if they got that fence up for Mr. Doherty, which they did. And I questioned them about it, and they were nice enough to say, we understand that we're having to listen to this right now, because everything's under construction. But we'd like to get at least Sunday off and not having to listen to this. So, I mean, I thought that's where we were at and what we were voting on tonight was just Sunday.
Mayor, if I may, to address Commissioner Smith's concern, if someone makes a motion to go in the direction that Commissioner Smith has just voiced, the motion should be to pass the ordinance before you with the deletion of subsection 1 of section 3847, and please insert the language clearly audible in the third line of subsection B of 3846 after the word construction, before the word construction.
Excuse me, can you repeat where that was to be inserted?
3846 sub B, line 3, subsection A, line 3, any clearly audible construction noise is what we then read with that addition.
Mayor, if I may, Mr. Golden, not to put you on the spot, but I know you were one of the ones that were vocal about giving people quiet on Sunday. Do you have anything to add to this that might help with the decision here?
Well, we've already passed it once. If I remember correctly, it was passed 4-1 at the previous meeting. I don't know that anybody's actually changed their stance on that. I was vocal about it in regards to the fact that precisely the reason that the people said to you that we're in the area, it's like, hey, I get that we're building, but, you know, if you live in an established neighborhood, if you live over where Ron lives, or where the mayor lives, or where Ray lives, or where I live, or where you live, and somebody decides they're gonna remodel their house, and you have to hear that day in and day out, it would be nice to have the day, one day, And Sunday, I get what the mayor's saying about how the times have changed. So Sunday could be a completely arbitrary day, make it Tuesday. That'd be fun. That would be really fun for construction companies. What do you mean Tuesday in Canada? But Sundays have historically been a day where historically, most companies have, especially construction companies, people in the service industry, have not worked. The grocery stores are open on Sundays, car dealerships are open on Sundays. They generally don't make noise. Maybe you'll hear a truck back in or something like that. But masons don't generally work on Sundays. And, roofers, except in the last year or so, with the way things have been, may have worked on Sundays, but in my opinion, people deserve a break. And the best day for that is Sunday. If you'd like for it to be a different day, then I can go with that. If you'd
No,
like
I
for
agree
it
with
to-
you completely.
If you would like for it to not be any day, well, I will disagree with you, but I'll certainly give you the opportunity to vote on it, because I think everything should be voted on. But, that's my reasoning, is that Sunday historically has been, service industries aren't really out and about. And if you have to have a plumber come out on golden time, then they're not making noise, they're just unstopping your toilet. So your neighbor's not bothered by it.
Right.
So, and drywall guys, most of them use, electric, screwdrivers. You really can't hear them from the street. And insulation guys don't really make any noise unless they fall on their stills.
Bulldozers, the
Right,
concrete
it's the
trucks,
concrete
things like
dudes,
that.
we got the concretes and the nail guns, that's what people need a break from. Nobody wants, and it's hot, in summertime, those concrete trucks roll in at 5 in the morning, and you've got your kids they wake up your kids, nobody wants the concrete truck to be pouring a slab at 5:30 on a Sunday morning. I can't think of anybody who's like, yeah, I'm okay with it. So Sunday's just the day that we picked to give our citizens a break from it.
Was that a motion?
No, if I was gonna make a motion, I would say, I move that we adopt ordinance 2023-17 with the amendments and provisions put forth by the city attorney and his comments prior to you asking me my question. That would be what my motion is.
Okay, I second that.
Okay, there you go. That was my motion, Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay, can I call to vote, please?
Commissioner Levesey?
Can I go, President?
No, you cannot.
Yes, immediately before you say yes or no.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Goldman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dwyer?
Yes.
Mayor Dukowski?
No. The next item on our agenda is resolution, public hearing, 23-14, authorizing loan WW42076. Resolution number 2023-14, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Bellevue, Florida, relating to the Florida Department of Environmental Protection State Revolving Fund Loan Program, making fundings, authorizing the loan application, authorizing the loan agreement, establishing pledged revenues, designating an authorized representative, providing assurances, providing for conflict, severability, and an effective date. And, are you presenting?
Sure.
We have, is it Mark White?
Mark Brewer.
Mark Brewer. I thought you were Mark Brewer, and I didn't know why it said White, and then I'm like, maybe that's not Mark Brewer.
I saw it too.
I thought it was a reference to the color of my hair.
That's what I thought.
Working with the
At least
city.
you got here.
If you would state your name and address.
Yes, my name is Mark Brewer with Angie Brewer Associates. Address is 4914 Lena Road, Bradenton, Florida, 34211. And I was joking about, I did have color in my hair when I started working with you guys in the early 90s. And so what we have before you today is SRF loan, State Revolving Fund Loan Program. And the total project is approximately $25 million in construction with additional costs for contingencies and technical services during construction. And then the one thing to note is that the city qualified for $9.8 million in principal forgiveness. So the way that works is you would spend the amount of money on the project, and then you simply wouldn't pay back about a third of that. And so that's almost $10 million in immediate savings to the city. The balance of that would be at 0%. That's the estimated rate that you guys would have, based on your affordability index and all the factors involved in the program. And then, one of the things that, we're always concerned about, and I'll pick on Sandy a little bit, we try not to make your staff hyperventilate as to the size of things these days. And so one of the things that we continue to do, and the advantage of the SREP program is using it as kind of umbrella funding to allow you to move forward, knowing that you can pay for it. But the way the program works is you don't actually pay back anything you don't draw. And so the idea is that through the Protecting Florida Together program, we've helped the city apply for a grant for that. I just talked to some of the folks at DP yesterday, and they're waiting on notification from the governor's office as to when that announcement might come. They're thinking probably right before session, maybe January, February. They were hoping to do it more in December so they could get ahead of things and get the rest of the paperwork moving, but as soon as we know that, we'll share that. The person I talked to is a pretty high-level person, and she actually knew about the city's project, so that I felt that was a pretty good indicator. We also are constantly going through or supporting through the legislative process requests for grant funds as well that would offset the cost of the construction. And I mentioned there's some hurricane money. It doesn't apply to you guys because you didn't have damage from the particular Fiona and Ian. But the idea is we're always going after the ability to reduce the amount that the citizens have to pay back. And so even if for some reason it's not, the Protecting Florida Together so far has been a year over year for the last 3 years. And we expect another process next year. And so if we don't get enough or we don't get any, we will continue to go through that process. The idea, like I said, being that as you implement the project, you can pay the bills with SRF, but if you receive other funds, you can supplant that. So that at the end of the day, the lowest total cost of delivery is what ends up being passed along to the citizens. So that's kind of the overall view of where we're at, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Commissioners, any questions? Is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak on this topic? Okay, back to the commission.
Mayor, are you looking for a motion to accept the authorization of the loan application? In that case, I'm gonna say reserve all of my nitpicking. I'm not gonna pick on Mr. Brewer. So in that case, I'll move that we adopt resolution 23-14.
So,
Nothing against you, everything against Bob.
no, I'm just really used to you picking on me, so I'm not
Sorry,
surprised.
not today. No, I read the document, it's fine. I just,
We have a motion and a second. Are there any further comments before we vote? Okay, Ryan, call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Goldman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dwyer?
Yes.
Mayor Gurkowski?
Yes, thank you. And next on our agenda, we have Ms. Sue Mosley, who is here to speak to us about the Bellevue Christmas parade. And if you would just state your name and address.
Good evening, Sue Mosley, 5184 Southeast 20th Street, Ocala, Florida. I am the chairman of the Friends of the Christmas Parade, and I'm also putting on your Bellevue Christmas Parade as well as Ocala. So I wanted to stand before you tonight and let you know that hopefully this parade this year will be longer than last year. I know there were some complaints about that. I am very grateful to your staff and your police department. They have been wonderful in helping me orchestrate this year. I've had a little bit of a hard time getting volunteers, but the Ocala committee is going to step in and help us get it done in Bellevue again this year. We have not been able to raise any money to cover our insurance as of yet, but I'm still working on that. So if you can afford me a little bit more time, a week or two for the insurance certificate, I hope to have it to you soon. But other than that, I would like to also extend the invitation. Florida Express Environmental has offered up their truck again to carry all of y'all in the front of the parade. So that is December 3rd. If you could please just let me know who's going to be in attendance and how many people in your party. But you're all very welcome to bring your children, grandchildren, family. There's plenty of room. So y'all will lead the parade, and we have local Bellevue judges again this year. It will be televised this year again. And like I said, hopefully it'll be a little longer. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer it, but everything is going along very well.
So the date is going to be December 3rd.
Is that the Sunday before the, because I may be confused. Don't help, Mariah would know better. Is it the 3rd?
It's December 3rd.
Yeah, the 3rd, Sunday at 2 o'clock. Yeah. Everything is the
Is it
same.
Sunday or is it the 3rd?
No, the 3rd's a Sunday, and the
Okay.
2nd is, light up, that's the Saturday. And the 3rd is the Sunday.
You know, I'm sorry, I was at the reading with the mayor today, and I was looking at the flyer that Michaela had, and I'm pretty sure that the flyer says that light up is December 7th. Because I thought that was weird, because I thought it was the 2nd. If you could just ask her to check that while I'm thinking of it.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so December 3rd for the parade, and so we need a motion to approve that, and we also need to, authorize the chief. Do you contact DOT?
We think
Yeah.
Okay, and we need to authorize the appropriate road closures.
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Ryan, call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Goldman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dwyer?
Yes.
Mayor Gudkowski?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Mayor,
If y'all have any special requests, I'll be happy to accommodate any needs.
Sue, if you, any volunteers want to get a hold of you, where do they call?
They can call my cell phone. You can pretty much find that anywhere. I'm a realtor, so Google me, or Facebook, or give it out. You know, Mariah has it.
Okay.
We have a Bellevue Christmas Parade email. It's bellevueparade@gmail.com. We have the website is bellevuechristmasparade.com. So there's all kinds of ways. But yeah, any volunteers or anybody who would like to be a sponsor and give a little money would be great. But thank you all for everything. And again, thank you to your staff and your police department because they've been super. I couldn't do it without them.
Awesome, well, thank you for doing this.
Thank
Appreciate it. Next item on our agenda is unscheduled audience. Is there anyone who would like to speak before the commission?
Hi again. Gonna do something dangerous tonight because I forgot to bring my paperwork, so I'm gonna try to do this from memory. Because I wanted to finish up from the Declaration of Independence. So the second paragraph, kind of where I left off, and mostly where I want to get to with this, is that when Thomas Jefferson wrote this, he said that when a government usurps their authority, goes beyond what they're allowed to do, he said it is the right, it is the duty of the people, okay, to change that government and institute a new form of government. And things that I'm hearing up here don't jive with the way we were founded. It's a real issue. I take this pretty personal because of my heritage. I've had warriors in my family all the way back to the Revolution. So I take this very, very personal. In fact, on one side or the other of my family, I've had people in every war since the Revolution. And so it's hard for me not to take this personal. That aside, I've got two questions I have to ask, and I don't know if you're going to answer them. I know other bodies I've asked questions, nobody ever answers them because it winds up getting them in trouble if they answer it either way. Do you guys have the authority or the power to amend the Florida Constitution? And I already know the answer, and you guys know the answer. You don't. The second question is do the citizens of Bellevue have the power or the authority to amend the Florida Constitution? And if you want to answer, I'll listen, but you're not going to answer, because we know, you guys probably know where I'm going with a lot of this, maybe you don't. My research is all done with where I'm headed, and I'm getting ready to type stuff up, and we're going to go to the next level. And I'm going to leave you in the dark with that. So y'all have a good night.
Thank you, and